in the quiet of night, with my heart laid bare, something stirring inside, like a silent prayer. You gave me this flame, a purpose divine. Lord, help me remain in your design. Keep my lamp burning, oh, keep my lamp burning right, keep my lamp burning, oh, till I see your light, till I see your light. Every moment I breathe, every step that I take, all the truth I believe, all the choices I make, you fill me with grace, a vessel refined. Now I seek your face, lead down behind, keep my lamp burning, oh, keep my lamp.
Hey everybody, good to see you. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. It's good to be here. We are joined by Roger, Luca, and Janusz. Woohoo! Good to see you guys.
Woohoo!
Hello, everyone.
Glad you guys could make it. To be honest, I almost thought I'm going to sleep and just set the stream up for an hour later. But I'm here. It's good to see everybody. Hey everybody in the YouTube lands and Rumble and Twitch. Good to see you guys. Please hit the likes, share the show. And yeah, let everybody know we are live. I appreciate everybody. So, we do have votes going. 18 votes so far. The Bible teaches the flat earth. Yes, 32%. Was 19 votes. Yes, 32%. And no, 63%. Not
Oh,
sure,
wow.
5%. Wow. Quite hectic.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you know anything about the scripture and the Bible, you'll see it clearly does teach a flat earth.
I have to
saying that earlier.
disagree.
Don't worry, we'll show you how it does that, Luca. And going to show you the root words, the etymology, everything based on why it does show enclosed stationary flat plane.
I've looked at the I've looked at the King James, the NIV, the B something E or whatever it was. But I've looked over many of the different versions of the and Bibles that there are, and I just can't see anywhere where it describes the Earth as being flat.
It literally opens with the earth being flat in Genesis.
I can provide you Old English version, which clearly
Please
says.
bring it quickly.
Drop it.
I mean, does it use the word flat though?
Actually,
Yes,
it
it
does.
does.
William Tyndale, yes.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to see that.
You would? We can provide it for you, no problem. Right, Jan?
Yep, I'm just looking for the link.
There you go.
Let's quickly get in the link for us. But it's good to see you guys. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
I can drop it because I don't have range, but I can provide
and
the
make
link.
sure.
Yeah, we can provide you
Please drop
quickly
it.
and then
And make sure that it's in the right context as well. Not just someone saying like.
No, it's the Matthew's
or
Bible.
something.
It's the Matthew's Bible itself.
Yeah.
Or or context where someone says that they're laying flat on the earth or something. So
No, it doesn't say it says flat Earth actually in context.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
And Vera said unto David, the ark and Israel do dwell in Paulin's, and my lord Loeb and Serenus of the Lord lie in tents upon the flat earth.
so she's lying upon the earth.
The flat earth.
Flat Earth,
She's
yes.
lying upon the flat earth.
Yes.
Yes.
Later, it has been changed in the majority of the Bible versions to the open fields, yes.
I mean,
This is the Old English. This is the Matthew Bible 1537 edition. 2 Samuel chapter 11. Later on, translations change it to open fields.
Why did they do that?
Whoa.
The Visa agenda, because unfortunately King James was a Mason, and the majority of the Bibles is accepted by the Luciferian Vatican. There's a few reasons.
I'm guessing it was. I'm guessing it was changed because, flat Earth was just the Earth looked flat, right?
I think it's because they had a model to push from the Vatican. They had a Copernican model, and they wanted to push that as their calendar and their agenda. That's what I'm guessing.
Can I? Let's see.
But yeah, must I actually zoom it in so they can see it properly?
Yeah.
There you go.
That'll be good. Hold on. I took a photo.
You can go get the Bible yourself. Actually, they sell it. Be a good thing to read.
Okay, I have taken a photo. Okay, let's do this.
What's up, Adam? How's it going, man?
But
Yeah.
Good to see you.
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you guys?
Very,
I'm
very good, man. We're here to teach the people that the Bible does say flat earth.
The Bible definitely says flat Earth. We ran it through the actual scriptures the other day, and we ran it both ways. And the Bible said how it described it, multiple verses. You can just keep kicking it; it'll just keep reading them out. And then we did it the opposite way. Does the Bible describe a flat Earth? And then when it goes to the verses that they stretch, and it says you can stretch these verses to say this is the ones that they go to, that they stretch, but you can't say that. It talks about the planets moving, and he laid it out, and it is immovable. That's the one that he really can't deal with, because he's just dealing with the text. And when I say he, it's an AI robot. It's just easier to kind of say he. It's got a male voice. So that was interesting.
Adam, is it placed on pillars by chance?
It is placed on pillars.
Strange. How do you place a globe on a pillar? That's what I want to know.
Blue tack.
Oh, okay. That works.
Yeah, there you go. Bold.
Yeah, but I think we should definitely present that logo spot on, because when I was watching some of it was actually quite cool. The information is literally on tap.
Oh,
well, what about Samuel 2:8?
What about Samuel 2:8?
Later in the this is Samuel, right?
No, 2 Timothy.
Well, later it says, round Earth too.
Oh, circle is not a sphere.
yeah.
Round doesn't describe a sphere at all. It
And
really
then
doesn't.
in Isaiah, it says it a sphere. It uses the word sphere, and you take that word.
Isaiah 40:22 talks about a circle, Job 26:7 talks about the circle. Job 26:10 talks about the circle. Proverbs 8:27 talks about the circle. Revelation 7:1 talks about the four corners of the earth, which requires the flat earth. The whole of Genesis talks about the earth being created stationary enclosed with a firmament above, separating waters from above and under. Revelation even has this firmament still available, which I find really odd. I don't know if you guys know about this. Don't you guys find it odd that the Globe Christians want to say, well, you see, the firmament was just an atmosphere. That's why it's not physical, because it became an atmosphere. And, well, in Revelations, it still talks about that firmament.
Yeah.
So how is it a
Weird.
physical firmament in Revelation when it turned into an atmosphere in Genesis?
Intellectual dishonesty.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's happened. What I think it is, I think it's the propaganda that's drilled into us from such a young age, and they can't admit it because they're not separating a barrier between scripture and the information in their brain, and they're just spewing out ideas instead of going, let me go to the scriptures, or let me go outside and open my eyes. Why is the sky blue? It's God's favourite colour. No, it's because there's water up there. It's not hard.
Do you think that could be referring to the ground,
Say that again.
What do you mean? The
to
firmament?
the level ground when it says flat Earth there?
No.
No, definitely not.
Because like the ground would look flat, right? The ground is flat, right? Quote
Ground is
unquote
flat. I
flat.
100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
Quote unquote flat, because it definitely looks flat to me.
So, yeah, do you want to go through some Genesis where the Bible literally starts, and we can show you how it's showing a flat Earth?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. I've come to really love Genesis, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes really good.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I don't know.
so in the
Yeah, maybe
Lord, Ryan,
Right.
you have to mute, man.
Sorry.
Okay, so in the beginning, God, remember this is big G God, just to point it out, created the heavens and the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the earth was without form. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Does the sphere
What
have
does
form?
that mean?
What is a
Does
form?
it- does- yeah, what's a form?
What is a form?
This is a form. It's formed into the shape of a cup.
But without form means nothing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
formless.
Think about
So-
clay.
Yeah.
Lucas.
So, and the Earth was what? Didn't
Without
have
form.
anything on it yet? Or...
No, there was just no form. It wasn't spherical like you guys claim it to be. There's no sphere.
But it couldn't have been flat because flat is a form, right?
No, it's not. Flat
It's a
is a
description.
condition. It's a descriptive
Flat-
condition.
Flat describes a form.
No. Okay, explain form of flat, please.
Huh?
Explain flat in a way of being a form.
Well, matter is form, right? Any kind of matter.
No.
has
We're
a
saying
form.
explain flat. We say explain flat as a form.
How explain flat as a form? I don't know how I'd do that.
You can't, because flat isn't a form. That's the whole point. Now, can you explain a sphere as having a form?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, and what does it say there? Without form.
Mm-hmm.
So which one do we rule out there as being the shape?
Well, but hold on. I'm gonna
Be honest with the text.
that.
Just be honest with the text. It's a lot easier. You don't have to use as much brain power. You just kind of read it and go, okay, this is what the Bible is saying. Are you a Christian? Just like catching up here. Are you a Christian?
No, he's not.
No.
So if we hold
But-
to the book and we
But there's
read
good news. But there's good news, Adams. We did pray for him a few nights ago for God to reveal himself to him. He obliged to do that. So we are expecting a big miracle soon.
Amen.
I did say amen. Yeah.
Hmm. It will come on God's timing.
So much better.
Give me a couple minutes to think about that.
You see, this is, but not to be bad, to mean anything harm. This is what cognitive dissonance does. Because I've had the same thing with, you can show literally that there's no interpretation needed here. It's literally word for word there.
Interpret that sentence a different way, and you can't.
You can't.
It's not a complicated sentence. It's not philosophy, or it's not some kind of crazy. I think it's a literal description.
Yeah. And if you go to the lexicon, this is for form. Look what it says: formless, confusion, unreality, emptiness, formless, no what of primeval earth. So there's no form of earth, nothingness, an empty space, that which is empty, unreal, of idols, wasteland, wilderness, a large place of chaos, vanity. Ooh. Remember, you have to take it in the context as well, which comes to formless.
So, like the uncreated nature of the earth?
No, it's created. God's saying how he created the earth. And
Like,
he created
yeah,
the
but-
earth without form. That means he created
So
no
no
sphere.
animals, no people on it yet
Yes,
without form.
nothing's there.
No topography on it
Nope.
without form.
Yeah.
So
Think of it. Think of it in a way of a lump of clay.
okay.
It hasn't really got a definite form. There's no form there. It's just a
You make it into a form.
yeah.
It's been formed. It's a process. You form something. This plastic was a.
So it started out as a lump of clay, then he gave it form.
Yeah.
No.
So only an intelligent creature can form something, because it's something intelligent changing another material, forming something.
But what if it formed into a ball?
Well, it doesn't say that,
Doesn't need to.
because it won't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Out of silence. It's one of.
We know it has form now, right?
Yeah.
So what if that form is a ball?
Remember, later on, God says when he decides the water and the earth, right, the dry land appears. That's when he forms it, because it's with upturned urges, which we're going to get to later on as well.
So, what's the best form you could hold water or anything in, Luca?
I guess a ball.
Kind of like that, yeah. That would be a good start. Is that like a globe by chance?
Well, gravity and everything holds the water to us as well.
What?
But that's interesting, Luca. If God created the earth without any having a form, where's gravity in this?
Well, clearly the Bible doesn't mention everything.
No. Remember, this account of Genesis was God speaking face to face to Moses.
So wait, so what? How's God speaking to Moses if no humans have been created yet?
God explained to Moses how he created the earth.
And Moses wrote down what God said.
Yes.
So this is technically. So this would be Moses's writing to us, I guess, about what God said to
God's
him.
testimony. Yeah, God's testimony.
And God said he created the earth without form at the start.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, but this is going to get even more interesting to you, okay? So he created the earth without form, and
Mhm.
void, so that just means it's empty. And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Okay.
Do you know that also means flat?
Face. Well, spheres has faces as well.
No.
You know the
Like
face.
the moon has a face. We see the same face of the moon. So face can mean just you see only one side of it.
Lucas, in a
No.
mountain, you know when you say you climbed the face of a cliff, which part of that? How would you describe a face of a cliff? If I told you, go and climb the face of that cliff, can you describe what it would be looking like roughly? What bit of a mountain would you look for? What would you expect it to look like? If I said, "Oh, we're going to go climb that face of that cliff,"
Well,
Yeah.
it's a cliff, so I'd expect it to be straight. I guess 90-degree angle or something.
It's like a face, like a face. You got
Yeah.
a that sticks out from it.
A face would appear to be a flat surface.
Pretty simple, huh?
But we see the moon basically as a flat surface. We see the same face of the moon, which
Yeah,
just
that's my
means-
question. That's my question. Do you see the backside of the moon, or is it just they say there is a backside of the moon?
well, we only see one side of the moon. That's a face. A sphere has a face as well because a sphere appears flat
You mentioned
when viewed from the outside, anyway.
gravity as well, Lucas. You know, like gravity could make it all round. Gravity pulls on things. Big things pull big things together.
Uh huh.
Why does the moon not pull itself into the Earth?
It's an orbit, so it's
How do you get?
constantly being pulled towards the Earth.
Can you help me? How do we get a? How can gravity create orbit?
If something falls and misses an object, it loops back around, and then it gets pulled towards it again.
Are they? Do you have elliptical? Do you know what elliptical is? So the
Yeah,
screen
not-
you're looking at me.
It's not yeah, it's like close at one point and then further away at another.
Okay, so when the
So it's not a perfect orbit.
so does the gravity get stronger when it's at the corners of the ellipsis and then pull it back in? Does gravity?
Gravity gets stronger. The let's see.
Closer you are to center of mass.
Squared. So the further away something is, less gravity.
Yeah,
So
as I
yes,
said, the
like-
closer you are to center of mass.
Yeah. So would it just when it goes to the corner of the ellipsis, would it just carry on and disappear like a slingshot?
Wherever it get
If it was
it'll
gravity.
slingshot around, but then it'll come back
How?
because gravity pulls it back. That's what an orbit is. It gets pulled in, it misses the object, and then comes back around because it's being pulled in again.
Does that make sense?
Well, it's in space, so there's nothing to really stop the. There's nothing to interfere. There's no friction. There's nothing to really stop it from keeping the same orbit it has.
So does gravity get stronger as it gets further away or get weaker?
It gets weaker.
Okay, so how is gravity able to pull something back at the corner of an ellipsis?
Because it's always had gravity, even if
Think of it this way, Luca.
it's not like it goes too far away.
But think of it this way, Luca. When it's closer, it's moving away still. Why would you expect it when it's further away now, when it's weaker, to all of a sudden move back?
It's weaker, but it still gets affected by it.
No, listen to what I'm saying. When it's closer, it's moving away when gravity's the strongest. When it's the furthest away, when gravity is the weakest, it's getting pulled back. Do you understand the problem here?
So when gravity is the weakest, it's getting pulled back, and when it's close to it, gravity is the strongest. What?
Yeah.
Do you see the contradiction?
Yeah, you can't have it both ways, Lucas.
No. What are you saying? It's
Okay, so if it was further away and it got stronger, then all the planets would be coming in.
It's not stronger when it's further away. It's weaker when it's further away.
Okay, so if it goes, you get it now, don't you? I think the penny dropped.
I hope so.
Anyway, I got on screen for you, Luca. No, spheres do not have faces.
Well,
So,
I guess it's pretty definitive.
yeah, so far we've seen God created the earth not being a sphere. It has no form, that's face. And he was hovering over the face of the deep, which means it's also flat. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So that is, again, flat earth. We just literally opened the Bible with flat earth.
So the Bible describes a flat Earth, Flats, right?
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, one
You're
thing. Luca, for example, let's imagine you have two magnets. Let's assume that gravity exists, and gravity works like a magnet. So if the planet or moon or whatever travels, an ellipsis or whatever, if it comes closer, the strength of the attraction is bigger. So and then let's go to very close, it sticks together. So later, to disconnect those two magnets, you have to provide additional strength power. So how it's possible, and what kind of strength power is introduced to the system of those two bodies to make the moon move away?
Hold on. Let me. Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Okay, so anyway. So you would agree then, Luca, that so far it's definitely not describing a sphere.
Okay. Well, what if it's just metaphorical then?
No, this is historical.
No, as in the face. Using the word face is metaphorically describing the Earth.
Yes, but the metaphorical description describes a physical connotation.
I'm
This is a
just
description.
saying that.
Is it
I'm
metaphor?
just saying that face could be metaphorical, not
Yeah.
literal.
The metaphorical describing a physical shape. Exactly.
Yeah. It's not describing a ball, is it? That's the opposite of a face. That's literally as far away from a face as you can possibly get. It's the polar opposite. It's
I mean, if it's metaphorical, then it could be a sphere.
So
Because
if this book is from God, do you think God would say the opposite thing?
well, I think God would make literal words, so probably not.
Okay.
But that's cool. But you see, it gets even worse for you now, though. If we carry on reading.
How so?
And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and He called the night darkness, and He called the night evening, and the morning were the first day. So, according to a sphere globe model, what is a day and night?
Day and night is when the sun faces us, and when the sun doesn't face us, it's night.
And can I
So
tell you, God, there's no
when
sun yet.
when we spin,
Yes,
the
Right,
but
sun,
there's no sun yet.
And there's no
He
sun
hasn't
yet.
made the sun yet. He hasn't made it yet.
but like, what's causing the light then?
God
You
said,
know?
"Let there be light." He just created a light. He didn't create the sun. The sun only
I mean
comes on
that
the
that
fourth day.
that's gotta violate every law
What law?
of
What law?
physics.
All it violates is your belief system.
It violates basically every law of physics.
No, it doesn't violate any law.
Which law?
How
do
can there be light from nothing?
No, there isn't light
Hey,
from
there
nothing.
was.
He said, "Let there be light." So he created the light.
I mean
What you talking about from nothing?
that's magic.
No, it's
Where
not.
do you believe everything came from?
Let there be light. Boom. Light appears out of nowhere.
Well, listen to
Oh,
what Adam has to ask you quickly. This is actually very important.
Where do you believe everything came from, Lucas? Like the reality, the world that you're living in, and everything on the universe, and the fish in the sea, and the birds in the sky, and the light. Where did it all come from? Because if you're having your viewpoint, you're saying I don't know, and we're saying God. So where
yeah, but I don't know doesn't mean God.
what
Like,
does I don't know mean then? So what you tell me where everything came from?
well, like before the Big Bang happened, like what caused everything?
Hmm.
What
What
caused
was
the
the
Big Bang? Or
What
what?
was the Big Bang?
It was just I think it was just an expansion or something is what they say,
The point
I
is,
guess.
what expanded? Where did that dense matter come from to expand? Where did it come from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Did it self-create?
We don't know. They don't know what happened. They don't know where it came from. They don't know what was before everything.
Were you there or were they there? Was anyone
No,
there? Okay.
no one knows.
So that's a belief system. So you believe that?
No one knows.
Yeah. The thing is, but for you to believe, you're believing in the Big Bang. You believe because they said who, and they weren't there.
No one was there.
No, I get that, mate. I'm not deluded. So no one was there. You believe that they are telling you what happened billions and billions of years ago. I don't know what they keep changing it.
But they don't know what happened before the Big Bang, though.
So why do you believe it then?
Well, there's something that can't be explained.
Yeah. So what you have more faith than I think every single person that's a Christian has less faith than you because you believe in something you can't prove or based on nothing.
But you can't prove what you're saying is true.
Yes, I can.
Oh, yes,
How's
you can.
that?
Oh yeah, of course I can. So you have to have a force, don't you? So when you don't have the in the beginning, God spoke creation into existence, didn't he?
I mean, that's magic.
It is
at
magic.
that point.
It's also the invisible things make the visible things, don't they? So you have the quantum realm. Okay.
Yeah, quantum.
Cool. Fancy word.
Quantum gravity, quantum mechanics. Yeah.
There's no such thing as quantum gravity. Gravity is a theory. So I mean, you're saying that there's now a theory for something that gravity needs to have physical matter. The quantum realm isn't physical.
It's spiritual.
Yeah, it's spiritual.
Ah,
So spiritual
quantum-
things can make things. Yeah, it's spiritual, mate.
no.
Is the quantum realm? Do you study quantum physics?
No, but
Can you
I
tell me
know
what quantum physics is?
quantum physics, quantum mechanics say that. Well, it's just a more expanded version of Einstein, really. Yeah.
A more expanded version of Einstein's what?
It's a more accurate. They're trying to be more accurate, which is causing problems. Because the more accurate they get, we can't really explain everything.
Well, let's put it this way,
You know?
Luca. Is it just based on multiple outcomes at the same time?
What does that mean?
Quantum.
Quantum
4
is
outcomes.
Meaning many, more than one.
Quantum is definitely more
Quantum 4.
descriptive.
It's not 4.
Isn't it? What?
No, it's not that.
It's
Quantum
way
just-
more.
Small. Just for the audience, quantum just means very, very small. It's the
Very small. Yeah, obviously it's a small, minute scale, but isn't it based on 4?
no. Just the very, very small.
Hey guys, can I try something right quick with the Bible itself? Let's say you could refer to the Bible like an instruction manual for a model car you got, and you read it and it came out wrong every time you did it. Would you keep buying that model?
No.
No.
Okay, so let's say the Bible is actually an accurate guide to the realm you live in on the earth.
Okay.
And people have subscribed to it for millennia as it goes.
Uh-huh.
It's accurate in its descriptions, would you say?
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. Quantum is based on 4 postulates.
What? It's not. I don't know where you're getting that from. I'll pull it up.
4.
4 postulates.
No, it's not.
But you understand where I'm going with that, Luca, right? So the description in Genesis about creation would be an accurate description if it fits, right? What the world is, right?
Yeah. Type in quantum physics, mate. Your quantum.
Yeah, probably is.
It's not 4, mate.
Yeah.
It's infinite.
I'm gonna agree with Flatzoid and say that it is based on 4. What's that word he used for?
What if in a few seconds, Flats just changes his mind when he just checks it out, and he'll go, "Oh no! Quantum physics is about particles can be in 2 places at once, just for one thing."
Yeah, it says you have 2 places at
It's
once.
set on 4
4 postulates.
postulates. Yeah, postulates.
Quantum 4 is that quantum physics. The word isn't the same thing. It's not what we're talking about. It's just in the YouTube search, you haven't identified quantum physics.
Yeah, it doesn't say this. There was a quantum computer.
Yeah.
Quantum computing was using the 4 postulates.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
But
That's
quantum physics itself just
Mathematics.
says it has 2.
I mean, the most common, the most common version is that it's 4 postulates. Yes, that's the most common one.
Yeah, I study quantum physics. I could help you out. I could maybe describe 4 ways. We'll just celebrate
mathematics, right?
No,
Mathematics.
The probability of a particle being one area is one thing. Then you have quantum entanglement, quantum boring, superposition, spooky action at a distance. Did I say quantum boring?
Yeah.
There's another one as well.
There's superposition, uncertainty principle, entanglement, and wave particle duality.
Well, it's
A wave,
definitely 4.
is a wave a physical thing?
That's why I said 4 postulates.
Oh, there's 6. That it goes to 6.
This is like particle.
Wait,
mechanics,
what about
Well,
state
I agree
vector?
with
You
that.
never said that one.
Well, superposition in the matter, I can go like this way. I can go that way. I can go up and I can duck down.
Yeah, state vector.
But I can't,
Vector, yeah.
I can't do 4 things at once. Superpositioning can do multiple things at once.
I mean that's a postulate I've had. It's a
You see, that's
state
based on
vector.
the double slit.
It's a state facing this way, or this way. Basically, there's a state. Well, that's one postulate.
Luca, do you
is
know how the double slit experiment worked?
the double split experiment?
Slit.
Slit? No, I don't.
Okay, so
Is
basically,
that something in quantum mechanics too?
it's a very simple way to demonstrate quantum physics. A field, isn't a wave. Is potential. It's not actually something. It's not a physical thing. Yeah, it's potential in a wave. Now, when you send a particle, a single particle, through two slits, there's two options for it to go through. There's two options.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just let everyone know that I'm painting orcs. There's two slits here. You send a physical particle, and then you have a backdrop. So when the slit will hit the back wall. Now, when you send a particle, if you look at it, the observer creates the reality, it crashes the quantum field. Yeah, the wave, crashes the wave and makes it become a physical particle. And
Schrodinger's cat. Until you observe it, it's in a state of existing and not existing, basically.
So yeah, let me continue. You can use Schrodinger's cat. Is a fantastic example of that. It will go through one slit, but if I turn away and don't look at it, it will go through both slits. Was it two?
Well, yeah, you don't observe it, so basically it's saying that
the back wall.
Basically, it's saying that it's in a state of going through both and just one at the same time, because you don't know. You have no idea. That's basically what it means.
Can a physical particle go through two slits at once?
No.
Okay, cool. So this is a repeatable and provable test. I think it was 1972. So it's a wave and a particle
at the same time.
Quantum mathematics is guessing on the probability of that, showing that the actual realm that we're discussing, our observation makes them become physical. It's all if the observer creates reality.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
In other words, free will is necessary.
Basically, if a tree fell and no one's around, doesn't make a sound.
So help me with this one. So if we're saying through the spiritual realm being the observer made the physical realm. So God,
we know for a fact that that tree would have made a sound when it fell, even though no one observed it falling and
Greek
hearing
philosophy is for Catholics and Orthodox. Greek philosophy, Feynman's philosophy, is for Catholics and Orthodox. I'm talking about science that's been studied for 100 years. We just celebrated 100 years of quantum physics, and the phone you're looking through uses quantum physics.
The phone, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The iPad, the phone,
we build things off it. So for someone to say that quantum physics isn't real is a lack of education, and once you present it with education, it's intellectual dishonesty to argue against it. So
quantum physics is real.
Yeah, of course it is. So what we've just demonstrated here is your observation creates a physical particle to go through the wave. But when we don't look at it, that particle only becomes physical on through two places. So it's spiritual, isn't it? It's in the spiritual realm. It's a wave, it's potential. It's not actually done anything yet. And then only when it hits the backboard do we see it knocking on two places. So the spiritual realm creates the physical realm. Bosh.
Yep. So in other words, it's proof, it's evidence that God created everything we know physical.
Amen.
So what? Have you
ever heard of the thing why, especially in Christianity, why it says words have power? Because prayer is spiritual and it creates physical manifestation.
Yeah, and prayer, because it's in the spiritual realm, it's the spirit that the.
I'd love to see that.
Watch this. So, I'll help you here. So watch this. Physical realm is time space. Time space is one construct. Space time and matter are the same thing. You have
space time.
You have to have a place for it to exist. You have to have a physical matter for it to be in. And then you have to have time for it to exist. So they're all the same thing. They're the same thing. It's space-time. We call it space-time, okay?
Yes, space-time. It is.
If you're spiritual, you are not in the physical realm. So when you have prayer, you are no longer bound by time. You are no longer bound by the physical. You're no longer bound by anything. So you can pray, and it can affect something anywhere. Because it's spiritual, and it's the word or the thought.
When
we say
that's
hang on 2 seconds. When we
never
say
happened, though.
The word logos, it's the thought. God thought, and it was.
So
could that make
I mean, I'd love to be able to think of something and have it appear, but that doesn't happen.
No, because you're not a creator. God is. You're not spiritual. So physical cannot create spiritual, but spiritual can create physical. One of them has to have would be the genesis. One of them has to be the start of something. And one of them is eternal by the way that it displays itself. One of them is not in time, space, or matter, so thus it is eternal. Time is a physical property.
So
Good way to
only
wrap your head around
so
that.
only one so because only one person ever is able to do this, we can't really prove it.
No, you're arguing out of silence. I'm arguing
Because God, you're saying, is the only one that can do this, right?
yeah,
That can create.
God is spirit. And when we're observing the spiritual,
But we don't really observe spirit.
no, we observe the effects of spirit. Spirit is invisible. We observe the effects of spirit.
Yes,
But
the
how
same
how
as
do you know that it's spirit doing it though? We don't know.
Your phone is working off it.
how you can see that the leaves on
It's
trees are
working off
moving.
science,
We are not.
It's working off science. Brilliant. It's working off science.
but science isn't spirit though. Science
Science
isn't.
okay, so science is explaining a reality. The reality we just proved came from the spiritual realm that creates the physical realm by us showing you the double slit experiment and you agreeing with us. And it's repeatable and provable, one of the most famous experiments in the world. And the fact that you're looking through a phone that's operating on quantum physics is another kind of crazy thing.
Luca, can you see the wind, or you can observe the effects of the wind?
You can definitely feel the wind,
You can.
but you can't see
I'm
it.
not asking if you can feel it. I'm asking if you can see it.
You can't see the wind; it's too small.
Exactly, but you can see effects of the wind. If you are
You
in
can see the
tornado,
effects that the wind has, yeah,
yes, the same as with God and His
like
creation.
blowing trees and stuff, tornadoes, cyclones. You know.
So is that a
There's
wave?
effects.
Is that a force in a wave? So is that showing a wave?
Tornadoes.
No. Are they behind the physical movement of the atmosphere? The thing that is moving them is a wave of potential energy, moving physical particles, or how is it moving itself?
Pressure, I think, is what
Pressure
causes.
is the product of it.
Yeah, pressure and temperature is what causes tornadoes to form. I think it's mostly temperature. I think.
Job didn't know why the wind blew. Job, do you know why the wind blows? He was doing rhetorical questions showing Job that he didn't know anything. And Job was an incredibly intelligent man who was very, very wealthy and owned around lots of things. So if we were to speak to Job, he would be pretty bright. He would be a pretty bright man. You know, he seemed to be pretty successful in what he was doing and how he was living life. So God said to Job, do you know why the wind blows the direction? Obviously he didn't. So God's saying, hey, Job, you don't know, my mind is above, my ways are above your ways. Just don't worry about it. He's asking rhetorical questions.
I mean, couldn't God just tell him why the wind blows, or drop something?
Can you understand how the earth operates? Do you think any man on this earth and all the manpower together, if we linked all of our 8 billion, 7 billion brains together, do you think we could work out how everything works?
Probably not everything.
Okay, so God,
we don't know what caused the Big Bang.
there wasn't God.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way: the issue you sit with is because you're a naturalist, you have to abide by natural law. Okay, so the first law of thermodynamics is violated as soon as you are a naturalist. When it comes to, because it's self-created, the nature just appeared out of nothing. Okay, when it comes to explaining God's proven through spirituality that created us, you can look at using thermodynamics and physics. If I have to, for instance, let's take this block. You would agree it takes a force to topple this block.
Yeah.
Okay, where it's sitting now, it's in equilibrium. As soon as I topple it, it is out of equilibrium, and now it's back in equilibrium again. You'd agree?
Equilibrium.
Means it's relative equilibrium. It's not going to move unless I add a force to it again. There has to be a force acting on it for it to get out of equilibrium.
I suppose
It's
so.
based on physics. Okay. Now, think of a circle. Okay, imagine my hand is the circle, and there's nothing there. You need an outside force, which would be God, placing the matter inside the universe. Understand? So if there is no outside force outside the universe, aka God, placing the matter in the universe, you can't have that matter to make Earth. You guys don't have God in the outside universe to give you that matter to have your Big Bang.
I mean, wouldn't any explanation be kind of religious in a way?
No, that was physics. This is
Because
physics.
because there's no way to be 100% certain of what happened when there was nothing.
There is not. That's a violation of natural law. There cannot be nothing.
Yeah. So did we demonstrate to you that spiritual things make physical things through the double slit experiment?
I mean, I don't know.
I could really help you out. I think the audience the mind would actually be blown. Would you do me a favor, Flats? Would you just type in quantum physics, make physical matter out of, make stationary light into physical matter 2022? Russian scientists.
What's your name, if you don't mind me asking?
I've met you before. I've met you before.
Quantum physics creates physical.
You have? Do you have a YouTube channel?
Matter out of stationary light. 2020.
Physical matter
out of stationary light.
Do you have a YouTube channel, Adam?
Yeah, I do, mate.
Well, what's it called?
Lord, send me.
Here I am, Lord, send me. Yeah.
Lord. Here I am, Lord.
Send
me.
Yeah. We spoke before, Lucas. It was a long time ago.
Oh.
Yes, according to quantum physics, matter can be created from light. Specifically, collisions of energetic photons, particles of light can lead to creation of matter and antimatter pairs like electron-position pairs.
Cool. Can you go to scientists stop, make light go backwards in time? Slow light down, make light go backwards in time and forwards in time. So I don't want people to think that what I'm talking about is woo stuff. I'm not.
Can you
the quantum time flip? Quantum time flip.
Yeah.
Can you post your channel name in the private?
Someone can.
Here we go. Popular mechanics.
I'll get it for you.
Scientists build a virtual model of something called quantum time flip. This recently discovered theoretical device that moves light both forward and backward in time.
Gosh. Okay, now 2 seconds, mate. Is Jesus the light of the world, and through him all things were made? Oh, well, there's the light of men, and light physical matter.
That's theoretical.
And is God timeless?
And
that is theoretical, though, right?
Is the Alpha and Omega? And when Moses saw him, their face,
in the end,
and he's the man of light. They see the man in white. I've got spirit all over me, bro. Hallelujah. Yeah. Cool.
The point we're making here, Luca, is we're able to show that physics is based on spirituality.
Yeah.
Even though you naturalists don't want it to be based naturally.
But it did say it's theoretical.
Theoretical quantum physics is theoretical
so
mathematics because you're making a prediction on where the atom will appear. So quantum mathematics and quantum theory is just a theory of where it's going to be. Well, that's based on maths. You're making a guess. It's like gambling, but you can make guesstimates. You can make guesses where it's going to be. So there is maths behind it.
I like it. It's like saying that like lightsabers from Star Wars are theoretically possible, right?
Yes.
It's using theoretical.
People have actually made
in
lightsabers,
that
by the
Yes,
way.
context.
we have lightsabers now.
Yeah, like it's taking energy and being able to really narrow that beam
Yes.
of energy into a that's been, and we do have now. They do have now.
Yeah. It wouldn't be
really
lightsabers
control
as in Star
over
Wars
the-
lightsabers, but we have real life lightsabers already. Yes.
Yeah, basically, yeah. we
I don't
do,
want us
yeah.
to skip over it too much. So, if Jesus is describing himself as the light of the world and through him all things were made, and the light is coming from the quantum realm, yeah, and it's a wave particle that becomes a physical particle. Light is a physical particle in digital units as well, which is really interesting, kind of a bit matrixy. Would that explain it? Does Jesus sound, his properties sound like he would be the creative force behind the Trinity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Infinity's
suppose.
quantum.
I
I
mean,
mean, if you take if you like assume.
yeah. So
I
if I
guess.
was to say to a physicist, what can go forwards in time? A quantum physicist, what can go forwards in time, backwards in time, and make physical matter? They would say light. If I was to say to a Christian, what can go forwards in time, backwards in time, and make physical matter? They would say Jesus.
Oh God.
Jesus is God.
Hallelujah. Come on. So do they look as though science is explaining God's reality? Science doesn't create. Does science create things?
Yeah. Science.
No, it doesn't.
creates
Science
things.
describes things.
What? No, science is used to create
You
things.
create things through the awareness of science and the materials that God made. So
It's using science is the reason we have the ability to create things.
science is the awareness of God's creation, and that's just
describes
creation. Science doesn't create anything. No one creates anything. We're not creative forces. We don't create things.
Science can only create one thing in you: your imagination. It can put thoughts in you.
Yo, that's cold.
Sorry about that, but I had to.
Well, that is funny. So what we're demonstrating here is through science, we're demonstrating that each person will give a different answer, but they can do one thing. I can describe the can of Coke, saying it from this way, and someone sees it this way. It's still the same can of Coke. It's not changing what the thing is. So we call it Jesus. You call it light. For one aspect, I'm not limiting Jesus just for this. Okay?
I had a good example. Luca, think about anything you want right now. And you have the ability to form the words, but you first have to form the thought, right?
Yeah.
To put it into action.
Yeah.
Well, God did the same thing with the natural world that we live in, right?
How do you?
I mean,
Well, this is actually for the Christians. How do you think God knows your thoughts?
A great example of this is played out in Thomas, because spirit is a field. He hears Thomas talking because God knows everything, yeah? And he hears Thomas going, after the resurrection, lots of the disciples saw Jesus. And then doubting Thomas, his brother, was like, nah, you ain't seen him. What are you talking about? God hears that because he's through all things. And then later goes through a locked door and appears to them and says, Thomas, put your hands in I will only believe if I can put my hands in it. He goes through a physical door, has heard it a week ago, pops in, repeats what he said, and says, without him asking, he says, Thomas, just put your hands in the physical thing. So that's quantum boring and him being a field, because the spirit by nature is field. That's why when you are born again, You are born of the Spirit. Spirit is non-locational. That's where you're already seated in heavenly places. Bosh. Huh. So he knew what Thomas had said a week previous. Then he went through a locked door, quantum boring. I haven't explained that.
What? He went through a locked door.
Yeah, can you go through a physical object? Can you walk through a door, Luke? Okay.
No.
In quantum physics, this property exists. Physical items.
Quantum entanglement.
There's no quantum entanglements.
Boring.
Quantum
boring.
Quantum boring. So watch this, Lucas. I've got a ball in my hand. This is an imaginary ball, and I'm going to throw this ball,
Okay.
and it's going to go throw, hit, bounce, catch. Throw, hit, bouncing back, I catch it again. I throw it again.
Okay.
And it goes straight through it. Is that possible in the physical realm, or is that quantum boring in action? Because Jesus is.
What is quantum boring?
It's a property of quantum physics, and quantum physics doesn't obey the logic of the macro realm. The world that you operate in is
like.
matter.
Is quantum boring just imagination?
No. It's observable.
But you don't observe you throwing a ball.
You don't know about it. So if we were to show you scientists demonstrating it and things like that, then when presented with new information, you could go, that's interesting. That makes that verse make sense on a scientific level.
Have you ever heard of a muon before, Luca?
The
Muon.
what? Muon?
Yes.
No.
Well, it changes state. It's a state of light in quantum mechanics, and it changes state.
Somebody's a
Because
moron.
it's more than one type of state at the same time.
Like Schrodinger's cat. More than one state at the same time.
Schrodinger's cat is the philosophy that's describing quantum physics.
But Schrodinger's cat's a thought
Yes, it's the
experiment,
philosophy
right?
of explaining quantum physics.
Yeah, basically. Like, that's about it.
Okay.
I'm still having a bit of a hard time following, but I think we're getting there.
Mind of God,
Slowly.
the mind of God, who can understand it? There's many things that I want to tell you, but you cannot bear them now. That was Jesus to his disciples 2,000 years ago. The reason he said now is because there will be a point in time that we can understand these things and grasp them. But the most famous, there's a statement, if you say you understand quantum physics, you don't understand quantum physics because you can't understand quantum physics. You can just kind of grasp it at the edges. That's why we have quantum mechanics, where we make a theoretical guess on the probabilities of it being in that place at the time. So you can't understand quantum physics. You can basically get your head around it, and that's describing God saying, "Look, no, wait, you're not going to get this, but you can kind of grasp it because I'm God, and you've got a 3-pound brain and pick your nose and pick your feet like we all do." There's a lot of simplicity in the Bible as well, Lucas. You know what Christians believe is the most important thing?
What's
The
that?
good news. Do you know what the good news is?
What's the good
The
news?
Creator, this really, really intelligent person, that's just demonstrated through science that he has an explanation for reality that you're living in. So he is the seed, the beginning of your naturalistic worldview. And this Creator thought you really special. And it says, greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for his friends. Yeah, and so he said,
Are you talking about Jesus? Lay down his life.
willingly went to the cross. For you, for God so loved the world, that gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever.
You see, even if we
Are you a
remove,
Lucas? Hang on, let me.
if we remove the Christianity,
Hang on.
from
Good news. It's really simple. The gospel's really simple. It's the good news. Are you a whosoever? Are you a person? Yeah, so that line is addressed to you. Whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. So if God is making you born again and spiritual, you'd have eternal life. You have to be born again. So, that's a pretty good deal. And this God has just demonstrated through physics the explanation for the natural world.
Well, you can even think about it this way: just like you have a body, you have a spirit and a soul as well. You're three different kind of particles, that you could say, as the same person. All three have different functions, but they all three make you.
Your body,
Yeah.
Body, spirit, and soul.
your heart, your brain, and your
That's
soul.
body.
I guess.
Your heart and your brain is your body. We're talking about
And the
spirit and
soul.
soul and body. Three
Where
different.
where does consciousness
here.
come from? How do we get consciousness from matter? Where's that bit of the explanation? The material world becoming
I
conscious.
guess you'd need a brain to have
Okay,
consciousness.
does the brain produce consciousness?
The brain probably.
They describe it as a filter. It filters out lots of things. Yeah, and it's like a receiver, the brain.
If you had no brain, you'd have no consciousness.
Okay. I believe you have consciousness.
Yes.
But I sometimes believe that some people don't have a brain because when presented sorry, it's
just calling them stupid, huh?
No. What I want you to do is when we're telling you these things, to be honest, go, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. And then and I want to put that hope in you of the good news that the reason that we have joy is that everything that we see in this natural world was created for us. And the person that made it died for us. And I don't know, do you know anyone that would die for you, Lucas? No, do you know anyone that would die for you?
Who would die? My parents.
Make it even this way. Would you know anybody that would die for you and take? Let's say you created a very bad crime. Okay, let's say you murdered someone. And you were supposed to go on death row, and that person decided to say no, they the ones that murdered them. It's fine. They didn't do it, but they took the blame for you to get in your place the death row. Would you know anybody that did that?
My parents, my father, maybe.
Would they say they murdered the person to go on death row?
Well, no.
Well, that's what Jesus did.
Yeah, assuming the Christianity thing.
Yeah, let's stick to science.
But let's see what explanation there is if we remove the Christianity from it, huh?
Where does love come from? Does love come from?
Let's remove. Let's see if there's a logical explanation that doesn't involve Christianity and him dying for our sins. Okay.
Do you think as naturalists you would have been aware of this already? They'd have been talking about it. You as a naturalist, because you know that position, and we know the position because we can study and we grew up. We weren't born Christian. Do you think that they have come up with an explanation where love comes from?
Where love comes from? Yeah.
Okay, you suppose so. Could you maybe supposedly point me in the direction of it or explain it?
Your brain, right?
Your brain. So your brain is
your brain is
cells.
Your brain is where all emotions are, including love. So all your emotions come from the brain.
So the brain is that's where all the emotions come from. Can you tell me how, without just saying because, can you tell me how matter can create consciousness or emotions, and where that's represented in the physical realm? Because you only have a physical realm in the natural thing. In your naturalistic world, everything's physical. Can you tell me where in the physical realm you can get emotion from? Just to help me. We'll go look for it if you want.
Like what causes a person to have
Which bit
brain.
of the brain is it? Which bit of anything is it that produces?
Like what? Where did the brain come from if there wasn't a matter to cause it?
Red blood cells
something?
carry my oxygen. That's what we do. Then we can
Yes.
prove that they carry my oxygen. Where in the brain does it produce love? What bit of the cell is it?
It produces love in the
Is there cholesterol in there?
I don't remember
What
the
mineral
names
is it?
of
They're all
the.
mineral. What mineral?
I don't remember
It's not
the
No,
names.
there's not. It's not there, mate. What mineral is it in the brain? We're going down to the mineral level. You know, you have, is it 156? What's that chart that we have about gold's AU? You know, K's potassium. Which one of the charts is involved? Which one of the mineral composites or whatever they call? I've forgotten the chart. Which one of those is the bit where is involved in making love?
I'd probably have to look it up.
Okay, it's not there, mate. Chemistry, because everything's chemical. Yeah, it's not there. I assure you, it's not a property of any mineral. There's something chart. Find out what that chart's called.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we studied it in school. So I can't remember what the
The periodic table.
periodic table. Which where in the periodic table is the mineral or element that produces love? From the point of view, you would have to have that somewhere. Where is it?
I'm gonna say the amygdala.
The amygdala. The base,
Yes,
the base of your head. Is the amygdala on the what's that chart called again?
Periodic table.
Periodic table. Is the amygdala on the periodic table? Okay.
No.
What is the amygdala? Is it, that's the base of your brain? I think the amygdala is.
The amygdala is for processing emotions, so I assume love would be in there too.
Yeah, but
somewhere.
Processing emotions is not creating emotions. That's fine. I said the brain is a processor, it's a filter, it's a receiver. I've said all these things. I've said it before. It's receiving them. It's processing them. It's not making them.
What about emotion regulation?
It's regulating them as well. Yeah. So I'm down with that. That's what the brains do, is regulating them. It's not making them, is it? Regulator is not a maker. Where on the periodic table do we see the elements involved in making love? Or any emotion for that matter? Apart from chocolate.
But you see, that's the problem. You can't, because it's a chemical reaction, so it's not emotion.
I mean, dopamine.
So dopamine is a composite. Dopamine, it'll be a composite because it's not on the periodic table. On the periodic table, I mean, you can even go to you can start combining them and making dopamine.
In other words, drugs, right?
I mean, it's just a feeling. Love is complex.
Complex.
It's
It's a feeling. What is a feeling? Physical.
It's psychological.
No, it's psychological. So it loves a feeling. Yes, is a feeling. Is a feeling physical?
In what context?
In the context.
So is an emotion, a feeling, or this or that? Is that something I can find on the periodic table? Because that's all you have in your naturalistic worldview. You have all of these to mix together to make whatever you're talking about produce a feeling. Can you do that?
I mean, it's
the whole I think so. How many is there? There's a lot.
It's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's
To
not
mix
on the
around.
table.
You've got all those to mix around if you want. Can you show me where they are?
So we use krypton and some nitrogen with
Yeah.
just a touch of beryllium.
Oh, there you go.
That equals love, Flats? Really?
Yeah.
Order some.
A feeling is both mental and physical.
Okay, so what is mental?
It's a physical
Okay,
experience.
so how
That's
can
the
you have a
context.
mental experience? Is a mental experience different from a physical experience in your naturalistic worldview? You keep using these things that you believe in, but then tell me you don't believe in them. You
Huh?
keep
What do you mean?
emotion, feeling, mental experience. You keep using them, but you're not, and then you're saying, "Oh, they're physical," but they're not physical. So you're aligning with us when you open your mouth, but then denying it when we describe what you're saying back at you. You're saying, "Oh, okay."
It's physical. Like what's the
Is an
question?
emotion physical?
I'd say feelings
Feeling
are physical experiences.
No, you
Feelings
must.
are emotions.
Yeah, they're emotions, not physical.
Mm. I mean, isn't emotion just a
Okay,
feeling?
but feeling isn't physical. Emotion, feeling, the same.
It's a physical experience. It's not something you can touch.
It's not something you can touch, but you only live in the naturalistic realm.
Can I give you an example, Luca, of
But you can
of love in a natural realm? Think about this. Think of a female wildcat and its young. Right. What drives that mother to go out hunt and feed its young? What is that force that's causing it to take care of its own? That's what we're looking for. Love. That's what love is. What causes that feeling?
I'm gonna quickly change over to my computer. Is that
Obviously.
okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries, bud. It's an interesting conversation. This.
So it's difficult for people to
What's your
comprehend.
painting now? It's a Warhammer or
It's
something?
difficult. You
Yeah,
see,
I
it's
just
difficult
want-
for people to comprehend that for anything physical to happen, it's a manifestation of the spiritual realm.
Amen.
They don't understand that.
There,
So I think it's
Okay.
yeah.
there must be spiritual beings.
I'm back.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Luke?
Okay.
Luca? All right. From all the vast of the history, if you can provide for me, if you know such example, as someone is lying about something, he knows it's a lie, but he is willing to die for this lie. Because usually people lie to get out of trouble, not to get into the trouble. Do you know such example?
No.
All right. So how you can explain 11 of 12 disciples? They were willing to die for they claim that Jesus was God. He died and he was resurrected, and they died for it.
I mean, there is another way of looking at it.
Okay, so please provide the example which I have asked for, because if they were lying, so they were willing to die for this lie. So how is it possible?
There's another way of looking at it that doesn't involve Christianity.
Okay.
Like
Huh?
It's not even
Okay.
about the Christianity. I'm
Okay, let's
talking
just
about
say
the example
I
of the.
agree that Jesus is or was a physical person. There was a person named Jesus that existed in this time frame
Yep.
or time period. But he wasn't the Jesus that you know. He was just an ordinary person that did something bad, or the people back in the day didn't like him, or something happened, and then he got executed on a cross, because remember, medieval torture or medieval executions were
wasn't medieval.
absolutely
Whoa,
brutal.
whoa, whoa, whoa! It wasn't medieval.
Yeah, medieval.
Long before medieval time, right?
Medieval, it's the Middle Ages.
Yeah, it
and
was
that was
long before.
over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah,
So
which
it's
is
way before.
Sorry.
But executions back in the days were absolutely brutal, remember?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a really bad situation. So for this physical Jesus that existed, you acknowledge that the second most documented thing apart from the cross, yeah, is he fed 5,000 men on a hill possibly what we think with the numbers, it was 20,000, then did the same trick the next day with 5 loaves and 2 fish, which add up to 7, funnily enough. So that there was 5,000 people there. Do you think that all those people lied about it, or they all documented it as it being the second most documented thing? People, once you have one thing you try and push away, then you've got to deal with the other one of, hey, this guy was on a field the other day, I went out walking, and then he randomly just started feeding 20,000 people with fish and bread. There's kids and women, but they can't, 5,000 men. So if we do maths, so let's say 15,000, they only had one child. 15,000 people with 2 fish. Maybe there were whales, but they're mammals. So 2 fish and...
Don't forget, those all had to fit into 5 baskets.
Yeah, 5 baskets. So they could have been really big baskets. Yeah,
Yeah, if they're wells, they had to be really big baskets, wouldn't
So
it?
do you think the fact that was documented all over the place, because that's crazy. There's no explanation. It's not some David Blaine stuff. It's producing something out of nothing, demonstrating he's creative. Do you think that was interesting? You remember that one?
But here's the thing, though. If I do say they are all lying,
Yeah.
then
Liars corroborate.
then what about the shape of the earth then?
Well, we just read the Bible, mate. But let's not change lanes here just so quickly.
Because if I say that they're all telling the truth and not lying about the event, then then I have people. Then the shape of the earth. You're accusing lots more people of lying than just those 50,000 or something.
15,000. So can you give me an example of more than 10 people telling the same story? Off the top of your head, I'm sure it exists, but
the shape of the earth.
Okay, that's a good thing. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Can you think of another one?
More than 10 people. Santa Claus.
What?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, yeah, St. Nicholas, that slapped someone for denying the Trinity. Yeah, Santa Claus was real, mate. St. Nicholas. He was a church saint. Yeah, I love Santa Claus, man. He's a real person.
But unfortunately, it was Santa Claus didn't turn out to be true.
No. Hang on. You do know that Santa Claus is just a change from Saint Nicholas.
Yes, I know that. Saint Nicholas is a real person. It's just
someone called me Ads.
Exaggerated a bit.
If someone called me Ads, that's not my name. My name's Adam, but my friends call me Ads. So is it the same? Is Santa Claus based off a real person? And did that person exist?
I'd assume so. Yes.
Yeah, he existed. Yeah.
But they've just exaggerated it to a lot.
Yeah, like the people say.
Of course, the things that Santa does isn't.
Which is a crazy exaggeration. Everything came from a big bang, but we weren't there. Or this Santa Claus, this saint that gave everyone presents and did all this, we're going to, change the colour of his clothing for Coca-Cola adverts and take people away from Christ by focusing on greed and material things, and promote Saint Nicholas and change who he was, and change the letters to spell Satan, an anagram of Satan. Which is more difficult. I think
the people that did that didn't mean for it to be an anagram of Satan.
How many people do you think are agnostic compared to atheists and naturalistic worldview? What percent of the population hold to your view, or say like people? But most people believe in God because the Bible says, "He who says in their heart there is no God is a fool." And I'm sure most people that my opening line in evangelism. Excuse me, can I ask you a quick question? See all this sky and the waves and the buildings and you and the animals. Do you believe all this came from a big bang? And I assure you, 80% of people will say no, and 20% people will get uncomfortable and walk off. They'll either say Allah, Jesus, or I don't know. Do you believe, but I don't. Do you believe in the Big Bang? And they go,
It depends on who you ask.
Bro, I'm. The Bible says not to lie. I'm not lying on this one. This is what I do. That's my opening
But,
line.
but if you just ask everyday people, like just asking
I do, mate.
random,
I go into the streets and Leeds town centre in Liverpool, and I ask people that question.
Yeah, he does. He literally does.
yeah, I
do
mean,
that.
what would you say to that?
Most
No.
people say I don't believe, and I stop groups of kids, and they go, they're all in school and they learn the Big Bang Theory, and they go, do you believe that? They go, no. They don't believe it, even though they're taught it. They don't believe it because their brain and their heart is going, this is nonsense. Do you believe that?
The Big Bang?
Yeah. Do you believe that?
There's lots of different kinds of.
Do you
Well, there's not.
yes or no?
just-
Yeah, look, Lucas, yes or no? Do you believe that?
Probably.
No. Yes or no? Do you believe that? We love you. We're not an enemy of you. We're having a conversation like men. And I asked that question on the thing, and I'm asking you, hey, do you believe it all came from a big bang from nothing? It's exactly how I say it. It's muscle memory at this point. Do you believe everything came from a big bang from nothing?
I mean, that's not really what they say.
What do you say? I'm asking you. This is me and you. Do you, Lucas? Do you believe everything came from a big bang from nothing?
From nothing, no. But there had to be something, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, well, yeah, cool. I agree with you.
So Big Bang came from something.
Yeah, it did. What do you think that Big Bang is? Let me just do my evangelism. What do you think that Big Bang was, mate?
So what caused the Big Bang?
Yeah, what was a Big Bang?
I don't know.
You don't know. Do you think it had to have structure? Because everything in the universe, if a bang creates chaos, chaos can never go back into order, and it goes into more chaos. It's just the first law of thermodynamics. So from that Big Bang, a bang would not create what we see. It would do the opposite. It would only go into more chaos. So do you believe it was a bang? Because we see order. Do you think that thing... Let me break it down. Do you think, Lucas...
So was the Big Bang actually a bang?
Yeah. Do you think that... Because that doesn't make sense. A bang making an
It was
explosion.
an expansion.
Yeah, a bang. Yeah, a bang making an explosion, and then we're seeing order. Order suggests an intelligent mind. Do you think maybe there was an intelligence behind it and not chaos?
And you do know that is a Freemason thing.
Expansion, sure. I'll go with expansion.
You go with expansion, okay? You go with expansion, and
it's not a big. It's misleading, the term Big Bang. It's an expansion.
Okay, God stretched out the heavens and the earth. Okay, cool. We can deal with that. That's close enough. So the thing that did it, whatever it was did that thing have intelligence or consciousness of some kind?
So was the thing that caused the Big Bang intelligent?
Yes, because we look at the world, it obeys on laws. Who set the laws? Who made the math? Why does it make sense? Do I feel that something's got my back when I pray to something's got back? That one. So who made the laws and who made the maths? That must have an intelligent mind.
I mean, what caused the Big Bang is like one of the deepest mysteries, I guess.
Okay, so hang on. So this world operates mathematically, doesn't it? And scientifically, and it has laws. You were talking about this gravity theory earlier on, and we kind of work in laws, physics and solid matter and all this. Could that have come out of something that didn't have an intelligent mind, that left the requirements so precise that nature can exist and is stable?
I mean, it's a coincidence.
It's a coincidence. That's too big a coincidence for me. It couldn't. But I'll just say
it couldn't. Too big of a coincidence?
Okay, remember this one. we've realized now that there was something behind the Big Bang. We're looking at the intelligence and it's expanded. We're not going to call it a Big Bang anymore. We're going to call it an expanse. And there's something behind the expanse. That's what you believe, yeah? If I was just making a thesis of your thoughts right now, like summarizing your thoughts. So there's something behind the Big Bang. It's expanded. I'm not going to call it. So there's something behind the expanse. Yeah. It was intelligent, or are we just on that? It shows laws of mathematics and it's stable. Yeah. Okay. So
Talking about ontological primitives, Luca.
yeah. So simple. Keep it really simple. So do you think that thing had consciousness, like we have consciousness?
I'm gonna say it was maybe fluctuations.
Fluctuations. So how can fluctuations create stable laws?
Like quantum fluctuations. Like
Quantum fluctuations doesn't exist. It's not in the quantum thing.
like
So you've now gone into the spiritual realm, which you didn't believe in before. But if you're moving, Lucas, we're moving the parameters slowly. As you're hearing your thoughts, you're realizing that what you believed before might be changing.
What about a big? What about an energy release?
Hang on 2 seconds. So all these this conscious thing, we're going to call it a thing, a holy thing in the Bible. We're going to call it a thing within a big expansion that's created all this symmetry, all these things that we're experiencing, the laws and the physics and all that good stuff we have in books. Yeah. And all this stuff. Yeah. And all the minerals on the periodic table in the naturalistic world. Do you think that could have had intelligence behind it, a consciousness? Does that thing have consciousness?
Like the thing that caused
the expansion.
I mean, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why not?
Well, it just doesn't. It doesn't really make sense.
Okay, how?
Because in the natural world, there couldn't have been really. I mean, what I'm gonna say is just religious thinking.
Well, no. This is not religious.
Because I can't say anything for certain.
I've not mentioned anything religious. We've got a thing. We're talking about the thing. We're talking.
I mean, anything that I say is just going to be a theory.
Okay, so no, it's not. We're talking science here. We're literally talking science. That thing, yes, that's expanded everything because it's no longer a bang, because thermodynamics, explosion will just go into more chaos. It's just unarguable. Yeah, this expansion with all these laws, you seem to have a difficulty in just saying yes, but I don't know who it is. I'm not telling you it's Jesus or God or the Trinity. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that thing. I'm just saying I think you think that we're trying to shove the Bible down your throat, and I'm just going, no, but that thing that caused it is showing the results of an intelligent mind.
It could have been a coincidence. It could have been intelligently designed in a way. Yeah, it could have been a person that did it.
So how do you get coincidences without consciousness? What started first? Like we're talking about the thing creating everything. You can't use words or have thoughts without something first giving you the ability to do it. So we can't.
I mean, at this point, we're just talking theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah. But we can't talk or have thoughts without acknowledging that something created this. So we're demonstrating the creation just by talking. Now we're talking about the creator. The creator must have had intelligence.
If there was a creator, he must have had intelligence, yes.
So that thing, is there something that made that thing then? Before the thing expanded, was there something that made the thing? So we're back to the thing that expanded it. Was that thing created, or was that thing the creator?
I don't know.
We could push it back. We could say the thing expanded everything, made this.
We could say what came before the God. You know,
Yes,
what
we
came
could.
before
What came
God.
before God? Yeah, cool. So that let's call
I
that.
mean, that's
Let's call that thing a thing that makes things. What came before that?
and then we'd just keep on going in circles.
We could.
It's a big loop. What came before this, and what came before this, and what came before this happened.
It's not.
And then before, but we're not going to really get anywhere thinking like
Yeah, I know we're not, because we can't make a loop. We could just go back infinitely.
that. Oh, good.
But at the end of the infinite thing, because you can't have a loop, you can't have infinity, you can't have
You can't have the end of an infinite.
Yeah, okay, so with an expansion, you have time. Okay? Go forward. If you keep going backwards, it has a start somewhere. Because you've got time.
It must have had a start somewhere.
It must have had a start somewhere. So do you think that that thing was the start, or something started that? There has to be a starter, doesn't there?
I think something started that, yeah.
Okay. Was that thing conscious?
I couldn't say.
I think you could, but we're not trying to win an argument here. We care what you think, and we want you to think what is true. We're not trying to make you something. We get no benefit for ourselves. If I convert you, I don't get 100 quid.
I mean, the answer yes and no could both be correct.
No, both couldn't.
Okay, can I bring something? Luca, you say
We're
that
at Schrodinger's cat now. We're in a state of yes and no at the same time.
You can't have that. It's a contradiction. You can't have that. One has to be right. You can't have two. You can't have that.
Yes, one has to be correct, but we don't know which one.
What do you think? I'm asking you what you think. Just without processing it too much, from the gut, what do you think? Do you think no? The thing that made the thing, however far you brought it, had to have a start. Do you think that thing had consciousness? Lucas
The thing that started everything must have the thing that started everything probably had a consciousness.
Brilliant. That's really logical. I'm so glad that you gave that answer there. I was thinking he was going to say something silly, but I think you're really growing in this conversation. And I don't think we're trying to put words in your mouth. I think what we're trying to do is ask you questions so you can hear your own thought process, think it out, process it, and then speak it out. Sometimes we rush people, and I don't want you to feel rushed. I want you to feel like we're just asking questions and you're giving us your logic based on science and observation. So the thing that started everything, that made the big expansion, you think had a consciousness. We can't know. I mean, we say we know, but we know that by faith. The Bible says
you know that by faith, by religion, by
No, but the Bible says by faith they believe that the world was created in 7 days. It's a line from the Bible.
Faith is just
Believing in things not seen.
Yes.
Faith isn't necessarily reality.
It's not necessarily reality, but the scientific method as well, I could go down as well. That's probably why I believe it.
Can you go down the scientific method with it?
Yeah, I came to the Bible through science and archaeology. That's why I became Christian.
You don't. I mean, if you don't observe, what can you observe? The scientific method starts with observation.
Creation testifies of a creator. The visible things make known the spiritual things.
you cannot have a creation without
you
creator.
observe.
I'm observing the
Bible.
No, but we're observing this expansion, aren't we? This mathematical expansion, and this thing's got a consciousness. You think it's got a consciousness? Like if you were to bet,
if you observe, yes, okay, I admit that you can probably take it down the scientific method. Let's see. You observe the expanding of space, therefore it must have had a start, right?
Yeah.
It must have been at a point where it was just a little dot before it started expanding.
That little
And
dot
we-
was the intelligent thing, then, yeah. Or the force behind it.
Probably.
Okay, probably.
Faith-based,
Yeah.
sure.
So you've got.
Why not?
So now you have a bit of faith. Would you say you have a
Faith,
very small
according
seed?
to faith, yes,
Would
but
you say we're planting a little seed of faith, a very small bit of faith? You have small faith. Yeah. So far, we've gone from no.
well, maybe.
Brilliant. I'm so glad that we can give you hope that that thing made you.
What's really hopeful about that though?
Yeah. Well, there's something that's higher up above me, and decided I was worthy, given the opportunity to experience the thing that the conscious the thing that he'd expanded.
So, what do you think about the? Well, I know this is a bit off topic, but what do you think about the world, the
I
Earth?
think it's amazing, and God made it for me and everyone else.
With a
So,
purpose.
Yeah, have a purpose for me to experience it.
So I'm taking it that if you take the Bible literally, you think that you know that there's a firmament.
Yeah. I do know that because I watch rockets scrape across the top of it. That's the best evidence for me that I can see from a first-person perspective and an eyewitness. I can see rockets scrape among it, and it makes like splash marks because there's waters above. So for me, that just looks exactly like if God had described it like that I would presume it looked like according to science and physics. That's what I would see.
I mean,
It was true.
Isn't water above it though? What would cause
Exactly. That's how it looks like.
Do you want to pull that up for just maybe there might be a 30-second clip of the water boat? You know, it looks like a speedboat.
Yeah.
What would cause that if it's not water? Because water can't be there. It can't be hitting the water.
No. But would you like to see it so you could have that first-person perspective on what I believe? Because I watched it through a screen. You understand? You're okay with it? You believe that I'm stood behind this camera because you're looking at me through a screen, yeah? You believe that? Okay, so through visuals, you're okay with watching something. Do you know what this is? What's this?
That's a rocket,
Falcon
right?
9 heavy rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
SpaceX.
rocket, yeah.
So just watch it. You tell me what this is.
It looks like air. That looks like it leaving the atmosphere. Because the air gets more spread out as it goes higher and higher.
Okay. Carry on watching it.
We're not staying there.
Oh, it's done it again. Does the air get thicker at the top again?
It's changing direction too. Look at it. It's
away.
not going up anymore. Yeah.
It seems to be scraping along.
Away.
Like
There we go.
oh, that looks like water. That looks like a speedboat on top of water, but it's upside
It
down.
looks like water. I'd say it's more of a gas.
Does that look like a gas? I think it looks like water. That look like waves to me, like a speedboat. If you look for it's skipping.
And
along.
look, it's expanding.
Yeah, that's
Just like
dude,
what you'd expect.
What's your explanation for that then, my friend? Help me out.
You'd expect it to expand as the air gets thinner and thinner, though, right?
What shape do you think the Christians describe? Show them the ark. What shape is the firmament according to the Bible?
It's a hemisphere, right?
The dome. Is a firmament like a dome like that? On the
It's a hemisphere, basically. It's a half circle, like a dome. If it's a Simpsons, you know.
If we can, I think it'll pull back. Did the rockets go straight up? That kind of
Have
went
you watched
the scraping arc, didn't it? It scraped along something, and then when it hit it, it made what you say is gas. I say it's like water. Maybe you could show another one. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Who's
Hey, Luca, have you ever been in a lake and seen a boat make a wake as it goes across the lake? Right?
Ooh.
Have you ever seen that before?
who's the black guy on your channel?
That's Giannis.
Here I am. The Lord sent me,
here.
right?
Humble servant, maybe. But let's focus on this, mate.
Okay.
And would you be looking at his face when you could be looking at the firmament?
And then let me show you a wake on.
On a lake. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
That'd be great, that. So this is what I saw, Lucas. Can you see how I could be confused with maybe thinking that it could be a rocket scraping along the firmament and there's waters above? Or that it being blue as well up there? When it lights it up, it's blue.
I mean, unless the water is not separated by the firmament and it's just hovering there.
According to Genesis, it says that. But do you know what's really funny, Lucas?
It says that the water above and below, it's separated by a firmament, right?
Yeah, and they're scraping along the firmament there. You see the shape?
How is it scraping against water if there's a firmament in
it's
the
a
way?
hard thing, and when it hits the hard thing, it affects the water behind it.
So it's ripples. Those don't look like ripples to me.
You know, like let's say you hit a bubble full of water. Okay, a balloon.
Yeah, but those don't look like ripples. Water hitting water creates ripples, but those don't look like ripples.
Sorry.
Like if you slam your hand down into water, you'd get a ripple. Water ripples.
If you're traveling at that speed, Luca, and you're hitting a liquid substance, it will cause what they call a wake as you pass through it or past it. It would cause a reaction. You ever seen a wake come off of a ship before?
A wake? What's a wake?
You don't know what a wake is? Oh my God.
No.
Plastic,
I'm bringing it up now.
Okay.
I'm trying to bring it up now quickly. Quickly look at this, Luca.
Okay.
Look what the hand's doing there. Look what the hand's doing his hand's doing in the water. That's a wake.
Okay.
See that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you see how it stopped making a ripple when they jumped in the air, and then when they came back on, it made it again.
So what? You think the rocket bounced off the firmament, and then if a rocket hit a firmament, it would explode. So no, it can't be the firmament. Oh, you're muted. Wait, am I muted?
No, it's okay. It does explode at one point. These things do explode.
They do explode.
It happens all the time, dude. Yeah.
It scrapes, and then at one point it just blows up, and it goes all over the place because it's an explosion. See how that weight comes back on when it makes contact with it? So it's the contact that seems to...
It didn't explode. It should explode as soon as it hits it.
Okay, let me help you with that. You hearing your own thoughts again, because this is how my mum helped me to think, so I could process my own thoughts. So, Lucas, so we see that on the surfboard. When something makes contact, it leaves a wake behind it, and when they break the gap, it doesn't do that. And then rockets would explode, and that what would happen if that surfboard guy exploded and his surfboard exploded? Would that make the water just kind of go all over at the point? If he scrapes on the water, he skips over times, and then he randomly blows up. That would make a. Did you see that on the video? Did that?
If the ship exploded above of the water, then you wouldn't really see the water be affected that much.
Is an explosion physical, like power?
Yeah.
Okay. So was the thing that was making the waves before physical?
Yeah.
Okay. So would we see
his surfboard, right?
Will we see the waves? Let's just watch this again. So we see this. This goes to the atmosphere. Remember, we went to the atmosphere and the air changed, but then it stops. But then air gets thinner, and then it comes back on. Or it's bounced off the firmament, or bounced off the water. Let's call it the water. Let's pretend it's a surfer. It's bounced off the surfer, and it comes back.
But then we have a problem with that.
This is a surfer. The surfer's jumped back into it, and now he's back on the water. Oh,
I mean, sure, yes, that does look like that.
Okay,
but wouldn't the rocket explode as soon as it hit it anyway? So it can't be that.
Do they look like waves a little bit? That's something.
Can't be that. what you're saying, it can't be what you're saying
That looks
because
like
there's
something,
no
like
explosion.
something else has broken off it and now scraping on by itself. Bing, bing, bing.
There's
Like,
no
like
explosion.
you know, when you skip stones, that looks like skipping stones there. That's just someone skipping stones.
The rocket has not exploded.
No, that bit's broken off. There's 2 pieces scraping because that's like a skipping stone on a lake. And that's the surface still going, and the waves are going out further, the wake of the waves are going out further. So that's still skipping like stones. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
You could absolutely see it that way.
Yeah.
I get the confusion.
Well, how do you see it? That looks interesting. And the shape is like a curve, isn't it?
But
did it explode there? Lucas, do you reckon the surfer exploded there and a bit of his surfboard's over there and the bit it put in 2 pieces now?
I mean, you can't really see, you can see it hasn't exploded there, right?
Yeah, of course I can. Well, it's broken in 2 pieces. There was definitely.
I mean, that's staging now, right?
Staging.
You know, if it's a rocket, it has stages, so it separates.
Okay, so it could be a separate stage. If it's a rocket, that's no problem. That's fine. Okay, so it's separated. That's fine. So what shape did it do? Did it arc or did it go straight up into the space? What did it hit? For rocket, what did it hit then?
It hit nothing. It didn't hit anything.
Okay, so that why did it make that skipping pattern and its back not do anything? Why did there a gap there? How is there a gap there, Lucas?
I have to assume.
Okay.
Because when the rocket stages, it breaks off a bit and it stops thrusting for a short while as it breaks apart, but then it thrusts again. So that could be what that was.
What NASA say? Are you an astronaut or whatever they call themselves?
What? And that's like no.
Oh, look, well, that's a surfer. That. Oh no, sorry, my eyes were a bit unfocused then. Anyway, but listen, guys, I've had a lovely evening. I will catch up with you soon. Lucas, if I would keep listening to Flats and keep asking questions and help your thought process. Just think out because we keep learning things. Do you keep learning things every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's always interesting to learn things as well and apply the scientific method. I'll just leave you with this. A really interesting one is I became a Christian at 30, 38 now.
So what are you? Are you a physicist or something? What did you say you were?
If I don't have a degree, does it make me a physicist? I don't have a degree. I've got 7 GCSEs, mate. But at 25 years old, through the scientific method, I became a flat earther 5 years before I was a Christian. So I never read the Bible ever. I didn't know that I laughed when I picked up the Bible and it was in there. I was like, I told all my family, I was like, I told you so. So I didn't have the Bible to become a flat earther. Yeah, you can have scientists that are not that. This word scientist, people that apply the scientific method can come to the flat Earth model. So if you're a naturalist, it doesn't mean that you can use your natural skills.
Well, you said, didn't you say you were something? What are you?
I'm a flat earther. I know it's flat.
What profession are you?
I'm a salesman.
I was under the
lowest level of qualification. The GCSE is the lowest level of qualification that you have to go through in school, and that's about as high as my education goes on paper.
I was under the impression you were a physicist.
No, I've got a national pool lifeguarding qualification, so I can save you if you're drowning. I did that when I was about 18, and I've got football coaching level 1, but I'm awful at football. But yeah, I know the difference between water bouncing on surfaces. I'm pretty good at working that one out. That's it. And if you want to know how to do a 1-2 pass, that's about as far as I can go. Yeah, but I was pretty gifted at science. So, yeah, just keep learning, mate. You don't need to be bright on paper to work this out. You've got eyes, haven't you? I remember I showed you my thing. I said, "Hey, I've seen this. This is what I saw." And I said, "Was it okay if I shared it with you?" And you're like, "Yeah, I will have a look at that." And now we've compared it. Do you think? Can you see why I would believe that? That's a logical explanation of what would happen. You can see why I believed that even before I picked up the Bible. I was like, yeah. But
Well, I can believe why you think that there was that the rocket was skipping off something like in
it
like
was.
surfboard.
Yeah, I like that you're honest now.
Because it does kind of look like that. You're right. It does
And
look like that.
there's multiple times when this phenomenon, it's not a phenomenon. The multiple times that rockets have skipped off things and they bend in that arc. You know, the arc pushes them in. They go that way. When they hit it, they go like the dome. So you could see that. I think this is why there's channels like this that test the science. You know, and you know, this is why channels exist. You know, because you don't believe there's 52 genders, do you?
No.
No, so they teach that in school, don't they? And then they teach the thing that has consciousness that expanded everything, didn't have consciousness and was a small dot. That didn't make sense, did it? When we allowed ourselves to process it, we realised that school's lying to the kids then. It's lied to me back when I was in school because, you know, the thing that had consciousness that made everything creative couldn't have been made by an explosion because explosion goes into chaos. So that thing couldn't have existed. So that they lied to me then. But now I've seen this surfboard kind of thing and this rocket scoping along it, it makes me think that, hey, maybe this thing is made for me and I'm inside it and the thing made it for me to experience. And I'm actually more precious and loved than I realized before. So for me, when I realized that, I realized that the thing that made it, that was conscious, loved me because it changed my life. And it allows us to love other people and do this out of love. And it doesn't, we say in England, there's many ways to skin a cat. You can boil it, you can just get the razor out and pull off its fur. You can do anything to skin a cat. It means no matter how you do it, the end result's the same. So sometimes people have a naturalistic way to get to trusting in what God said over what scientists and the 52 genders say. For me, I think me and you are quite similar with naturalistic science. I love science and repeatable and provable things, not theories. So yeah, it's interesting. What I'd leave this with you today. What time is it where you are now? Is it nighttime or daytime?
Early morning.
Early morning, yes.
Early morning.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. So this evening, what I'd really encourage you to do is to go look up at the stars and wonder, why does the sun and moon look the same size, roughly, and they eclipse each other?
Well, yes, that is a coincidence.
Very unusual. And all the stars are roughly the same size. Roughly the same size. It's as if...
But it's not exactly the same size.
Okay, not exactly the same size. And another one, and the last one, so you look up, and then when you stood there, do you feel the earth moving?
Why would you feel it moving?
Because according to the science, it's spinning really, really fast.
The thing is, it's moving in four different vectors.
Let's say what they say then. Let's see what they say. They say the Earth spins once a day.
Yeah,
one revolution.
I'm going to leave you with flats now, mate. I'm going to leave you with flats.
That's really not that fast.
It's been lovely speaking to you. It's been lovely speaking to you. God bless you.
It's great having you on, Adam. Thanks for coming, mate.
Pleasure. Email me and we'll do some.
Yeah, we'll definitely set up that other logos thing, man.
God bless you. Take care. Bye
bye.
Bye. See you later.
Bye, Adam.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's one big coincidence, Luca. The sun and moon comes up every day. It's just coincidental. It's just huge monsters.
Yeah, and based on them saying you wouldn't feel the Earth rotation is actually nonsense because it has 4 different vectors. Therefore, there would be speed change.
But like how fast?
It's very fast.
Do you want to calculate it?
It's quite a lot.
You can calculate it all you want, man. Calculation is not a measurement.
I mean, calculations say you wouldn't feel it.
You would feel it because it's moving different vectors.
No.
Okay, let's put it this way, Luca. If you go, let's say...
What is the acceleration?
1,800 miles per hour at the equator.
That's not an acceleration. That's a
No, that's the tangential velocity. Now, what happens is because
Yes.
you're changing vector, you will notice that speed change.
What is the speed change? Like, do you know
The
how
same. It's the
fast
same
you're
one. It's
changing
just in a different
speed?
direction. It's the same speed.
But
It's just
how
a different
fast?
direction.
How
1,080 miles per hour.
That's a tangential velocity.
Still, that's the speed. It's a rotational speed.
It's a constant speed, though. You
It's
don't
not
feel-
constant because you're accelerating in different vectors.
Yeah.
Yes,
but it doesn't
would
say
you
that
feel
constant all the
would
time
you
either.
feel the acceleration?
It's in different vectors, so it's an acceleration, Luca.
It's
Yeah, and
a
there's
very small acceleration.
1,080
there's-
miles an hour is a small acceleration,
No, that's the tangential velocity.
which
Okay, take a
changes.
sphere.
It doesn't
it's-
change.
It does. If
It
you're moving a
doesn't
different
accelerate.
direction, and you know what a vector is, Luca?
Yeah, it points somewhere.
No,
A different direction.
Like a
it's an
arrow.
acceleration in a different direction.
Okay.
So if you're going 1,080 miles an hour, let's say right, and then all of a sudden you're going 1,080 miles, let's say left, you understand that's literally the opposite direction. You would feel that.
If you suddenly change direction from left to right, yes, obviously you would feel it.
That's
But
happening constantly, and that change in vector,
We
that
don't
change
suddenly change
on your
direction.
sphere, that's a constant change.
We don't suddenly change acceleration from left to right. We do it over like 6 months.
No.
That's not an acceleration you'd feel. A 6
But
months
you don't have a
change,
day then.
we spin once per day, sure.
That is
We
what's
orbit the
1,080
sun
miles an
once
hour,
per
Luca.
year.
Yeah, the rim velocity on that day at the equator is 1,008 miles per hour. If you're on the rim of any cylinder, sphere, whatever, at 1,000 miles an hour, you would feel a change of direction.
Yeah, that's 480 meters a second of change.
And we can demonstrate this in real life. Not at that
How would you
speed.
demonstrate it in real life?
Well, you can get in a centrifugal ride and you can spin it up fast, and you change direction in that process.
Yeah,
At that
have you
speed,
seen-
you would feel it.
Have you seen those
you
guys
would.
pass out in the 0G, in the centrifugal? You know when they pass
Like-
out?
Pass out?
Yes,
They
they
do.
climb in the centrifugal accelerator. It stays. Let's say it stays at 6 Gs. They're going to still pass out. You know why? Because it keeps changing vector.
6 Gs.
Oh,
Like-
let me get it up for you.
6 gravities? Or what?
Yes.
Like 6
Yes.
times
Yes.
the gravity of.
Supposed gravity of Earth. Yes.
Okay, so 6 Gs would be 6 times the
It's the
9.8.
rate you're moving at that causes the force. It's centrifugal.
Yeah, it's like a spinning motion, centrifugal. It's like a
I'll
washing
put you in
machine.
I'll put you in a washing machine and spun you fast. You would definitely know it.
See, that's a
There
centrifuge.
you go.
You see that
Yes,
rotation
that's-
going?
Yes.
Okay, now he's inside it. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Now understand, it's going to accelerate to a certain speed and it's going to stay that constant speed.
Okay.
But why is he
Let's see.
passing out? See, it's staying at constant speed.
Uh-huh.
It's because it's changing vector, Luca. So it's constantly accelerating in a different vector.
And
But
he's out.
isn't that like one rotation every second, basically?
That's
It's
how it
not
works in
the
the
We
scale.
do one rotation every 24 hours. I mean, that's like what you said was one rotation per second. What we have is one rotation every 24 hours. That's not the same.
It's still moving in that time frame, correct?
I just want to say really flat, we're not confusing acceleration with velocity. The reason it is acceleration is because it has a new vector. Therefore, the velocity changes to acceleration.
Pretty simple.
No one's. This is one thing I don't get about these guys. They keep saying, "Oh, you guys are keep on confusing the two." No, there's not confusion. The issue is you ignore vector change. The key word, vector.
And you're being held down to a center point with gravity, right? Correct. That's the
Yeah.
holding. Yeah. Okay. So you're being held to that, but you're physically changing vector at the rim of the Earth. You understand what we're saying here?
Like,
You just saw an example of it. He's being held to that center point in that centrifugal machine.
it's
Right?
either over a day, over a year, or like over like the speed that we're going around the universe at. You know, how long does that take?
I don't know. I've never been around the universe, dude.
Let me try and make this another thing. The average acceleration of a vector is defined as the rate at which the velocity changes. So, it is the direction of change in velocity that makes the instantaneous acceleration.
And what's Earth's vector?
It keeps changing. That's the point, Luca. You're constantly rotating, so it keeps changing.
And orbiting too at the same time.
Uh-huh.
What's the frame of reference here? Are we doing relative to the sun, relative to the Milky
Doesn't really
Way?
matter. It's just the rotation of the Earth. You
On
claim
its axis.
rotation. I'm saying you would be able to feel it because the vector is changing. Because it means you're accelerating in a different direction
It's about
every
30
second.
kilometers per second is the orbit speed
That's
around
fast.
the sun, and the Milky Way is about 200 kilometers per
Doesn't
second.
matter. We're talking about Earth's rotation specifically right now.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about the Milky Way.
Okay.
Well, just how far did the sun, the Earth travel around the sun? How far is that? And what kind of speed you're going to have to maintain to go there? And you're doing a rotation at the same
Okay,
time.
Luca, let's put it this way. Okay? You've got the vector going, and it keeps changing. Understand? The acceleration keeps changing. You get
But
it?
no, the acceleration doesn't keep changing now.
Yes, it does. Could you change a vector?
No, we spin at the same speed.
The vector changes, so therefore it's an acceleration.
The direction you're going. We're going with your Newton's theory, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're going in that direction unless another force acts upon you. What's the force? It's gravity, correct?
Now, how this works, Luca, is you have a force, a centrifugal and a centripetal force. So what happens is it pulls you that way, and as soon as you change again, that force pulls you that way. So you go, then that force pulls you that way. Do you get it? So it keeps changing. So that acceleration is in a different direction. So it's a constant acceleration because you
Which
change
creates
your
velocity.
vector. So your speed is always the same constant velocity, but it's an acceleration because you're going in a different direction. Get it?
I mean, Earth's rotation and orbital speeds are constant, yeah. And they are actually quite steady, despite being elliptical. They're pretty steady, I guess. There's no sudden acceleration or deceleration that we would feel, you know? So we don't feel it.
You should.
Our bodies are moving at the same speed as Earth, right? So without changing velocity. Like there's no.
That's not how it works, though. You have to have your magic, and it's this thing you've been screaming at us forever. Gravity has to hold you to the Earth
I
for
mean,
you to
yes.
maintain the same
Gravity,
speed that the
yes.
Earth is moving at. So
Gravity does
where's
absolutely overwhelm the centrifugal force.
does it? According
Yeah.
to physics, and right now, gravity overcomes all that.
The outward force is about 0.3 or something. 0.3? I think that's it.
Watch this.
I'll add that. I don't know.
Imagine
about
an object being swung around on.
Just quickly
Oh,
watch this,
sorry.
Luca.
Okay.
Imagine an object being swung around on a string so that it moves in uniform circular motion. The question we want to answer is, what path does the object take immediately after releasing the string? To narrow things down a bit, I'll give you three choices. Does the object A. continue moving in circular motion? B. Move along a straight line path tangent to the release point? Or C. Move in a straight line path directly away from the center of the circle?
B. Very simple. And you see, that is that vector change you're talking about, Luca.
Huh? Well, why would it be B?
Because
what
it
happens.
follows. Because
Wouldn't
it
it
happens. It
continue
conserves
moving
momentum. It conserves the momentum in the direction.
If you're spinning it around and around, it would continue to spin around and
If he
around.
lets it go. If he lets go of that ball.
If he lets go, yes, it would go in
B.
a straight path.
It would be B.
If he lets go, it would be B.
Yes, that's my point. And that is the new vector you have on your constant accelerating Earth. You would be that tennis ball.
But we are constantly spinning. We don't lose gravity.
That's the point I'm making. So because you have a different vector, it's an acceleration. So therefore you will notice the movement.
But it's not like we get flung off into space or something.
Hawkins says C.
He does? Okay.
Wow.
It depends on when you let go of it.
I'll give you a few moments to think it over and choose an answer.
Sean's right.
At this point, I assume you've got an answer in mind. So I'd like to begin by revealing that answer B is generally considered to be the correct answer.
Whoops.
Uh-huh.
Considered. Yeah.
But we're not being let go of.
Yes. The point is, you are it's giving you the vector path, Luca. I'm trying to show you why it's a constant acceleration based on your velocity, which is the same.
And why you would feel that.
And why
all
you
the
would
time.
feel it is because the vector is changing direction constantly. So it's in constant acceleration.
The vector. We have so the vector is changing constantly on Earth.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
So I mean, I only know one vector, really.
No.
I mean, yes. I mean, yes.
I
You're
just
right.
explained to you what vector was as well.
You're right. I mean, the vector, the actual spin, right, is one. The orbit motion around the sun is another, and the Milky Way is another, right?
Yeah, but
There's
we're not
a,
worrying
like,
about the Milky
three-
Way. What we're talking about now is the Earth specifically. And it's
Okay,
rotating.
then the rotation on Earth rotation axial spin. Yes, that's a vector.
No, acceleration and velocity are not the same, relative.
The direction of any point on the Earth's surface changes every moment as it rotates, right?
Yep.
And the period is about 24 hours.
Yeah, Aaron.
And it's about 1,030 miles per hour, pointing tangentially. Right? Or about 1,670 kilometers per hour.
Yeah. Love you too, Sean.
Yeah, I know.
You're
Ain't he a special guy?
you're saying if the vector changes, that means we'll feel it. Right?
Yes. Yeah, just like if you go around a roundabout, you feel it, even if you're going at a constant speed.
You ever been on one? Merry-go-round, roundabout?
Have you taken a car around a roundabout a few times and just stayed the same speed? You feel
I
it.
mean,
You realize that you're changing direction.
yeah.
Exactly, and that's how it would be on your Earth.
At
So
constant
what
speed.
about
You'd
the
run out of
centri-
gas eventually, but
What
you'll.
about the centrifugal? What about the centripetal, whatever it
Centripetal
is.
force. The centripetal force will change
Yes,
constantly.
that's right.
Yeah.
Earth's rotation, both the Earth's rotation and
Earth,
orbit both involve centripetal acceleration.
well,
Right?
you see, Luca, the excuse for this on your globe thing, religion, is they say gravity and the centripetal
Central
force
change.
cancel each other out. That's why you have 1G, and that's why you don't feel anything. So there are
Yes,
excuses that just
gravity
cancels
does.
out.
Gravity does, by a large margin, overcome the centrifugal force.
That's what I'm saying. They everything to them, the glue is just gravity. The excuse is either refraction or gravity for everything for you guys.
I
Because
mean,
every time it shows to violate natural physics, the answer to this is, well, gravity or refraction.
that will. So, I guess gravity and refraction didn't think anyone could think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, well, gravity and refraction are, we can say, the heliocentric pagan gods. I'm sorry, guys, but I am so tired.
I mean,
feel like a zombie.
I mean, if the Earth, okay, I'll say if the speed of Earth's rotation or the orbit were to suddenly change, not just the direction, then we would feel it.
I got an example of that. Joshua.
Oh,
Ask
yeah,
the
with
Lord
the
to-
sun stopping.
Yeah, put the brakes on the Earth, right? Because
Yep.
that's the cause of the sun moving in their paradigm, correct?
Yes. And that means they will all go flying at 800 miles an hour and everybody be dead.
Yeah,
Because
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, because of conservation of momentum.
And if you did survive, what would
I mean,
happen after that?
Thinking of, you're comparing like small scales to massive scales, you know?
That was a
And
massive scale, dude. That was a massive scale. The Earth stopping. Yeah.
massive scale, tiny effects, you know?
Well, if the Earth
If you're
literally
thinking-
stopped, if the Earth literally stopped at its momentum right now, everybody would be thrown far away.
to the scale of the galaxy, even at speeds like 230 kilometers per second are relatively small.
You're pre-assuming a
compared to
galaxy
distance
there, aren't you?
involved.
Are you pre-assuming the galaxy is actually a real thing? Have you ever seen it?
Have you ever been to the
Yeah.
galaxy?
I've
have?
seen it through telescopes.
You've seen a band of stars called the Milky Way. I know that much. But
But that's a
other than
galaxy.
that, how do you know? Have you seen it outside of this reference? Have you looked at it from the outside to actually, wow, that's the galaxy, the Milky Way that you're actually in? No, you
Have
haven't.
I?
Nobody
No.
has. Ever even rockets have never got that far. Nobody's been that far. Nobody's seen that far. They assume a lot of things with their telescopes and bending mirrors and stuff that they think what it might look like, and they make artist renditions of what they might look like. They render computer software on the regular, but they have never seen these things, dude. You're pre-assuming that. It's a pre-assumption. There's no doubt about it. I'd win this in court, dude.
No.
I would. Yes, I would. We actually have court cases where we actually have won due to physics, natural
I
physics.
really doubt
Like
that.
Zen Garcia. No, yeah, look up Zen Garcia. Look up the case. It's an actual real thing. But they couldn't prove the Earth's spin or curvature in a court of law, in a federal court. We've won this case.
Zengard, what's it called?
Zen Garcia.
Zen Garcia. How do you spell that? Sia.
Garcia?
Is it just
It's a
S-E-E-R?
Spanish name. It's a I don't know right off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up.
Court.
Flash, you know how to spell Garcia? Like Jerry Garcia.
Let's see if it works. Let's see if
He's
it
a
works.
famous musician. He played in a band called the Grateful Dead. Same name.
The cut case. Then
Garcia. He won. They won 2 cases in the process. They're
okay, I
appealing.
see it. Hold on, this must be it. Okay, background. Zen Garcia offered a $5,000 reward to anyone who could provide 2 scientifically viable and repeatable experiments demonstrating Earth's curvature, specifically using the 8 inches per mile squared formula. William Thompson, the plaintiff, submitted computer-generated models as evidence, believing he had met the contest criteria. Garcia rejected the submission, arguing it didn't constitute a real-world experiment as stipulated in the contest rules. Thompson then sued Garcia for $15,000, claiming breach of contract. So wait, so he
No, he didn't lose.
so that's the reason. So that the court case was for the $15,000 sue. The court ruled in favor of Garcia, stating that Thompson's evidence did not meet the specific requirements outlined in the contest.
He couldn't physically prove it in the real world. He could do it on a computer in a software program, but he couldn't prove it in the real world.
Speaking that, it wasn't. This is what we call. This is what they'd call a false challenge or something. What's
it's something he actually wanted it to be shown in real world curvature. That was the stipulations of the contest. But this guy decided he would go in and develop software to present something that didn't prove anything. He didn't go out in the real world and prove curvature. Using the curve calculator formula that you guys came up with.
The court's decision ruled in Garcia's favor because Thompson's evidence did not meet what Garcia wanted.
Yeah, Garcia wanted a physical experiment.
So the reason Garcia won that wasn't because he failed to present evidence. It just didn't meet the requirements.
It didn't meet the criteria.
Yeah, it didn't meet the criteria.
Yeah, the criteria was a physical demonstration of measurement.
So, the thing is, you're missing the point here, Luca.
Yeah, so Thompson messed up,
point-
basically.
Yeah, but the point is you can't show any evidence for your globe other than computer generated models.
Ding.
We have measurements of curvature.
Where?
None of those were held
No.
up in the court.
No.
It's just that he didn't present it, believing that he
No.
had done enough.
What was supposed to be presented was real world demonstration. Couldn't
He
do
read
it.
the contract, dude.
did.
It's not that he couldn't do it. It's just that he
No,
messed
let
up.
you read the abstract. It literally says you
Go ahead.
couldn't do it.
He messed up, though.
He-
It's not that he couldn't do it. It's just that
Okay,
he
can
messed
you
up.
present to us real world Earth rotation, please?
Real world curvature.
Go ahead.
Either one. Go ahead.
So you want
Gas pressure, container,
real world
Earth movement,
curvature.
curvature.
It's like physically impossible for some reason. I don't know.
I
Go ahead.
link you to some sites.
I'm sure you could.
No, real world demonstration. That
Yes.
was the criteria.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
go
people
outside.
that do
You
the
do
real
it.
world. You
You
want
do
me
it.
to do it?
Yeah. That's what the
I
challenge is.
wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how.
Well, I was going to teach
Yeah,
you
that's
how to
the
do
point. Nobody knows how because they can't.
Scientists and people that actually do this would know how.
the
What
scientists.
do they do? Scientists do nothing. Shape's not a science.
No, that's geometry. This is
What?
geography.
Freaking what to call it? The surveyors would know how. Physics students probably would know how.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The-
Go find me one.
How about
I'm not talking about apologetics for what the refraction or diffraction does to light. I want to see physical measurements that a physicist can do.
I mean, he'd probably won the case if he showed.
Yeah, if you had
Maybe.
showed physical curvature, yeah, that would have won the case. Yes, he would have won the case. Yeah, that's how he could have won that case and got his $15,000. But yet he didn't, did he? And the judge
He
saw right
probably
through it
didn't
too,
know how.
like that.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
they
was
tried,
the
dude.
guy? Who was this guy that his name was Thompson, right?
I think so.
So who was Thompson? What background did he have anyway?
I'm not really sure right off the top of my head, but he took the
Was he
challenge
just
on.
a random guy?
I don't know.
If he was a random guy hoping for an easy buck, then he probably would have believed that he had met the criteria by showing the model on the computer, you know?
Yeah.
But it
No,
turns
the-
out he was
the
wrong
thing is-
because that's not what Garcia wanted
Yeah,
him
look,
to present.
yes, I agree with you, Luca, that yes, it's because he couldn't keep with the criteria. But
Yeah.
the reason this is a good win for Zen is because there is no actual physical demonstration for any claim of the globe. Okay, that's the underlining pinning argument here.
Mhm.
You
That
have
was the
to
whole
use
point to it.
computer generated. You have to use computer generated models to try and demonstrate your globe. You can't demonstrate anything other than trust me, bro.
Mhm.
It's based on
Look
faith.
at my model. Based
I
on math and gravity,
probably would've-
basically. Yeah.
I mean, yes, if he had done an actual experiment, yes, then he
That's not an
probably
experiment. That's not an
No,
experiment.
I
Luca.
know
That's
that.
a measurement. Yeah.
I know that. But if he had done like putting putting down pipes in the water, making sure they were level the entire way, and then showing they had curve over long distances despite being completely level, he would have won.
Huh? The level's curved now. So you're leveling something curved.
All you literally had to bring up is a definition for a level, and then say, "See, horizontals don't curve," and then they would literally dismiss it.
Yeah. That's not a level. A curve is not a level.
No. Anyway, guys, I gotta go sleep. I can feel I only had an hour's sleep. I really need it. I'll probably have a morning show tomorrow, guys.
Cool.
And then yeah. So
All right.
I want to
Well,
say thank
I'm
you
sorry
guys
for
for coming.
keeping
Sorry,
you.
I really need to sleep. I'm
Yeah,
struggling.
I'm sorry for keeping you.
No stress. Thank you for waking up so early, Luca.
Yeah. Well,
And
I didn't mind
we didn't
being
even
here.
get through, we didn't even go through all the scriptures we wanted to, but at least Genesis 1 already made our point anyway. So
There's a lot more. Believe us,
yeah.
you're going to be here for a month or two. And the root words mean exactly what they mean. The people who wrote them use those words for that explicit.
Because they were
purpose.
flat earthers. Yes, because they were flat earthers. Exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, guys, thank you for coming. I appreciate you all. Please hit the likes if you haven't already, and then share the show. And then I'll see you all tomorrow morning for a morning show. So for you guys in the Americas, it's probably going to be evening show, but for me it'll be in the morning.
Yeah.
And enjoy your day further, Luca. Enjoy
Thank you.
everybody's evening and day, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Blessings.
Good night, everyone.
See ya.